Well, hi, Happy New Year's. How you doing? Sorry I've been missing in action again. Well, life has been crazy this fall. I feel it's fair to say. And I've had way too little studio time, and I have not had time or the brains, so to speak, to get into my studio much, and certainly not to film any videos. But now it's a new year, it's a new beginning, and I'm going to get back to my studio practice, and I am planning on being much more consistent on uploading to my YouTube channel again. And so today I wanted to film a video about how to get back into the practice of painting again if we've taken a longer break. And I'm sure there's some of you too who are in the same situation. And how do we find our artistic groove again, our creativity again, and get back into what we love to do? It's strange how sometimes things we love to do, it's still difficult to carve out the time to actually do them. I feel myself waylaid day after day with other tasks that I might even not enjoy as much, but they seem to take priority. So I'm going to change that, hopefully, and maybe you want to change it with me. So today we are going to take a little look at how we find our inspiration again. And I'm going to start with looking through some of my old sketchbooks, and I have several paintings that are unfinished that I want to finish, and I'm going to do a little practice today along with you on just being free and loose and not be too invested in the result, because I think that's part of it. After we haven't painted for a little while, then we feel, oh, maybe I've lost it, maybe I don't really know how to do it, and of course we do. But we got to get in the saddle again, face that blank white paper. So let's do it together. That's more fun. So I'm digging out one of my sketchbooks. I'm not a big sketcher, and I have a ton of sketchbooks because I want to be a big sketcher, but I'm not. Just like I want to be a plein air painter, but I'm not. It's my fantasy self. But I do find that when I finally buckle down and use my sketchbook, because that's basically, for me, it takes the pressure off. This does not have to be frameable. It doesn't have to go into any gallery. It doesn't have to sell. And that, I'm sure you know, that takes off a lot of the pressure. So let's take a look what I did in the past and what I want to do today. So here is the sketchbook that I was thinking of, and I keep a sheet like this. It's wax paper, just from the kitchen. Just if I have things where like here I've glued in things, and if I want to be able to move on, I can put that in between so nothing sticks. So anyway, that's a little tip for you. So anyway, last year, I think it was last year, maybe it was the year before, who knows, I did some challenges, some free workshops. I think this one was from an artist in Australia that I follow, and different things. And here, this is a little bit mixed media. It's mainly watercolor, but I also use some other things to experiment. And here I used a gold acrylic first, and I used masking tape to mask it off. And here I took some notes. That was another workshop by Nicholas Wilson, Art to Life workshop. It was a free workshop, and I didn't finish this page here. And maybe I'll do that. And then I did some more where I marked off the pages so that I can make, quick little studies. I don't know if you can see that, but I used masking tape. Anyway, and then here in February of 2022, so almost a year ago, I saw a free online workshop by Gabe, Art of Gabriel. It was just a 21 drawings in 7 days challenge, and I know I didn't finish it, but I'm not, again, I want to be a sketcher. I want to be a sketcher so bad, but I'm not. Anyway, so I did a couple here. And this is the one that's been in my mind for a long time, actually since last year. Hellebores. I love hellebores, and I have several in my yard, and I've taken pictures, and I'll put them in here so that you can see them. And I want to do some hellebores, and that's that, and that's, you know, my Christmas cactus. And here I used all these here. I used my elegant writer pen, which I like to use for sketches. Also helps keep me loose. And blah blah blah, and again crocus. And I am actually 2/3 done with this painting of crocus. It's been sitting here for I don't know, since last winter, I think, since probably around this time here. And it's watercolor paper that's mounted on a cradle board, and I really like to paint like that. It's kind of like my new style, is that I like to mount my watercolor paintings and then seal them with either an archival wax or an archival varnish that I can spray on. I like the wax method better, especially in the winter when I have to do it indoors, seal them indoors. But I think it's a more modern look, and I really like that, and I hate framing. So, I mean, this, if you have to mount on the board here, that's also a bit of a process, but so it's, you know, it's just a different headache, I would say. But anyway, so that was inspired by this little sketch. And then this, as I said before, this one here, Hellebore, where are you? The Hellebores, here. That has been on my mind ever since I did these here. I really want to paint those. And then here, what I see out my window, and I think that's as far as I got. And none of this is very good. I don't know why I tell myself that kind of stuff. It's not nice. We have to talk nicely to ourselves. Yes, so that's another thing. It's a challenge for this year. Anytime I say those things to myself, now I said it out loud because, you know, I was filming a video for you. But those are the kind of things that I tell myself, apparently, and it's not nice. And we should stop doing that. Pat on the back, you did it. This was not meant to be any big, you know, award-winning paintings. These were just little scribbles. So what's wrong with that? Fui, 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 fui. So anyway, my thought is this. I'm gonna go to back here where I've already marked out some areas. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of hellebores here, just from the photos I have taken. That's what I'm gonna do. Do you wanna do it with me? Let's do it. So I found a page where I have already made 6 little, there's 4 squares, and then down here they're rectangular, and I have 4 more here. And then I went on my iPad and found one of the pictures that I have of hellebores, and I'm gonna put that in the corner here of the video so you can see. I'm gonna start with that one, and then I am going to use my portable painter, even though, you know, that's my outdoorsy travel palette. So if you watched my last video that I did here on YouTube, the portable painter kindly sent me these classic custom pans to expand one's palette, and I did a little review on those. And here are the 3 I put in my palette. I like this shape is the one I like the best because I feel you can get in there best with your brushes and stuff like that. So anyway, so I expanded it with these 3 colors. They're all from Daniel Smith. It's the Cascade Green, the New Gamboge Yellow, and then this one is the Quinacridone Sienna, and it's pretty close to the burnt sienna that I have from Winsor Newton, but it doesn't matter. So these are the colors I expanded it with, and these are the 12 colors I have in my palette, and those are my pretty standard colors. I have peacock blue, I have indigo, I have cobalt teal, I have cobalt blue, I have green gold, French ultramarine blue, transparent yellow, smelt, which is a kind of a purpley blue. I love that color. It's kind of like an odd color, but burnt sienna, permanent magenta, opera pink, and quinacridone red. That's what's in here. Doesn't matter if you have the same, as you know. And I have my usual, my little pad here. I have an old terry cloth towel, and I have some Viva paper towel. I love the Viva paper towel. I have my 2 water containers. I always use 2, as you know. I'm kind of a stickler for clean water. And then I'm going to use this little pencil here. That's the ones that I usually use to sketch with. They're just Papermate Sharpwriter number 2. You get them at any of the office supply stores. And I've been using this one for years and years. I like it because you don't have to sharpen and all that stuff. I do have on standby a few of my Micron pens. I like them very much. I have a brown number 01. So it's very fine. Mine also have a black 01, I think, somewhere. There's a 0.005, so that's extra thin, and this is the black 0.1, and then this one is the black 0.03. So those are the pens that I have on standby. I don't know if I'm going to be using them. I also have my Fancy Dancy pen here. I have black waterproof ink in it. It's a Faber-Castell, and it's a fountain pen, that's what you call them. And then I have a dip pen here. I'm not very good at using dip pen, but this one is one that has like a little bit of a wider thing. And on standby I have my Daniel Smith's walnut ink. I got inspired to buy that watching one of Jean Haynes' videos. She made her own ink and stuff, but with my allergies, I can't smell up the house like that with that kind of stuff. And then I have a variety of brushes to show you. I have my dagger brushes, those are both 1/2 inch, so just 2 different brands. I have this one, Princeton Heritage, that's a number 3 for details. And then I have this Raphael brush, number 1 it says, but I think it's like maybe, this is a 1/2 inch, so it's kind of smaller than a 1/2 inch, so maybe almost a 1/4 inch. And then here I have a number 12 of the Mimic Squirrels from Creative Marks that I like, and a number 8, and that's about it. Anyway, we'll see what I use. I have no idea. It's been so long since I've actually painted. It's terrible. And here is my water spray bottle, and before I even get started, I think I'm just going to spray my colors. The poor things, they haven't seen the light of day for months. Not since last year. Haha. Okay, but here we are today, having fun. Let's see what we can come up with. Now I got to get my little photograph up again so I can see what I'm going to be using as inspiration. So again, it's going to be very loose. I do want to start out with just a little sketch. So these are very nice and simple flowers. That's what I like about them. I thought that would be a good kind of beginning. And like that. And then I can see a little bit of a petal on the other side. And there's a stem coming up here. And again, yours truly, she's not, a great sketcher. But we do the best we can. And then this one goes, and then it goes underneath there. Actually, it goes more like that. Okay, that's all. And then there's some little green leaves here. And there's a little bit more green here. And then there's a little bud coming out here. Looks something like that. And it's, coming out of that greenery in there. And that's all I'm going to do. I don't want to get too complicated because then, I'm trip myself up. And then I am going to use probably this here brush, number 8. Get my water. And then before I start, I want to I hope you can you even see these lines? I think they're very dark, but in reality they're not very dark. So I'm going to just dab some of this one was a wrong line. I'm going to take that out. And the paper in this book here, it's I think it's 140 pound and it has a little bit of texture to it, but it's by no means is it cotton. It's just a cellulose paper. And then I'm going to go in, put some water in this petal here, and I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of that green gold. And maybe I want to take a little bit of I think the pink, there's going to be too much. I'll take a little tiny bit of the permanent magenta. And then I'm going to there's just a little bit of green on this petal. And then on this little bud, there's a little tiny bit of a pinkish hue up here, so that'll be the magenta. And then there's also green. Don't want them to mix too much, but a little bit is okay. And then I also see a little tiny bit of that pink there, and there's a little bit of pink on this other one behind here. A little bit darker there. And then just we'll give that just a hint of green. And then there's some green on this one, and I'm just trying to make sure that they don't run in to each other. And a little bit more, just a little bit more right up here. And on this one, yeah, and see now that ran in, actually that's very pretty, I like that. And I'm just rinsing the brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of that. There's a little bit of a shadow there. Oops. There's a little bit of a shadow here. I think that's about, and there's also a little bit of shadow in here. There. And we're going to leave it like that. Leave it like that. When you say leave it like that, you want to leave it like that. Okay. So then we have that green gold, and you can make that easily yourself. Just use a phthalo blue-green shade if you have that, or another kind of cool blue, and put some yellow in. In the green gold there is actually transparent yellow is part of green gold. Green gold is a mixed color. All right, so now we need to darken up that, and what that's indigo. Is that really indigo? I guess it is. Indigo. Put some indigo in here in my green gold, because now I want to get some of those. Oops, there's a little hair. I want to get some of these. The stem, and then I'm just gonna, and I might even put a little bit of, just so it's not so bright, so put a little bit of the permanent magenta in. So actually put a little bit more green gold, because it's a little bit of a highlight there. And there's that. And I'm just going to take a little bit more green gold. Green gold pushes away the other colors. That's one of the reasons I like it. So if you put it in like this when it's beginning to dry, it'll push away some of the other colors. Okay. And then I'm just going to do like this. Okay, dab a little bit. Yeah, like that. Okay, so that's one, quick and easy. And I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll see what I'll do with it. Let's do another one. This time I want to do one of the ones that are a little bit more pinkish. This is a good color. And I'm gonna do it without drawing. So I'm gonna just put the water in. Like I'm drawing with the water, and I can barely see it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's okay. We'll do the best we can. And then there's comes like, and let's see what we got. I'd like it a little bit more, not so brown. Okay, and then we're going to take some of the green, and I don't mind if it runs into it a little bit, and darken a little bit here. There we go. There's another one, and we'll just wait and see. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try and lift out there, and maybe there. And since it's not cotton paper, it doesn't behave exactly like we're used to, but that's okay. We'll deal. So there was another one. So let's do one more. So this time I'm switching to another photograph. This is a more pinkish one. And that's one where you see it pretty much full on. And so there's one petal. And then behind that is this petal. And behind that is this petal. And then there is a petal that comes in like this. Like that. And then there's this petal that's behind. And there's all these little stamens. All right. And this one has, and then one like this. Okie dokie. And that one, let's try and see if we use our dip pen and that walnut ink. I'm gonna give that a shot. So, just going to dip my pen and let's see. Just start with the stamens and then I'm gonna go in. And I like to have kind of like a scribbly, not perfect line. The thing I like about the walnut ink is it's pretty light and kind of natural, you know. Dip back in there. Give it some little contour lines. Okay, and then it has a stem. And there's actually another little stem that goes like this. And then there's a bud. There's a leaf. Kind of covers up a bud. Just scribble, scribble, scribble. And then in the meantime, I think this thing here is dry. So what I wanted to go do was, I wanted to go back in with a bigger brush and just get a background in. So I had to leave my studio, my cozy studio, for just a bit to deal with this. Just life in the mountains here in Northern California, up in Truckee, where I'm at. So I do have a snow service, but they don't get all the way into the garage, so I have to go out every time I have about 10 inches of snow and just clear in front of my garage. So that's what I do in between, and that's also where I get a lot of my inspiration for my paintings. You know, it's the nature up here. You can see this is a tree I can see from my studio. Life in the mountains, but I wouldn't change it for anything. So I finally got in again into my studio after all that snow blowing and all that stuff. And I found my little Pebeo masking pen, and I'm just gonna dot some masking fluid in here. Maybe even do some little lines. And I have a video, if you have these Pebeo masking fluid marker, they call it drawing gum, whatever, high precision, they have a tendency to get gonged up, and I have made a video, and I'll list it below, on how to get it to flow again. But they are pretty nifty. So then I did that. So let's continue. I don't want to paint inside here because you don't want to get wet masking fluid on, but I can paint on the outside. Oh, and then here I'm learning something which I didn't remember. The walnut ink, can you tell? I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit so you can see. But you see how that bleeds out? Oh, I like that. So let's just bleed that out. And I can just paint over. Whoops, I didn't want to paint over the little bud I had down here. But I can paint around it like this. So it's almost like when we use the elegant writer, it also flows out. Now I don't know about the walnut ink here, if that flows every time you wet it or if it's like the elegant writer. And again, I'm going to list below, I'm going to list a video that I have on, painting with the elegant writer. if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so see how we got that? Now that's standing out more because it's white, and now the other parts of the paper there, the area around the flower is more. I'm going to take Cascade Green now, just because I feel like it. And see here, I'm going to put some greens here, and I'm going to put a little green here, there, and everywhere. And then maybe up here at the top, maybe I'll put a little bit of blue. So put a little bit of blue up here. There. There we go. A little bit more of that Cascade Green down here. That's kind of fun. And then what I was thinking was, now I've been out there looking at all that snow, and I'm just wetting this other square here, and I like that Cascade Green, so let's put some of that in and see how that travels up. I love it. That's probably that phthalo blue that's in there. It's phthalo blue in that color. All right, and let's put some of the blue, which is the cobalt blue that I have here. I'll go it down a little bit with a mug I have in. And let's just do like this, a little bit in here. Look at that. And gonna just dab out a little bit like that. And that could be a couple of flowers later on. And now, since I like those colors so much, I think I'm going to put some of those colors in here as a little bit of a background around this flower, that Hellebore that we painted without any pencil lines. So, and as I was mentioning, it's such a nice thing, at least for my mindset, mindset to have. Let's just put a little bit of that blue in up here. Is to paint in a sketchbook where I'm not so worried about if it's gonna be a frameable piece. This is not gonna be a frameable piece, none of these here are, but they're gonna be fun little inspirations for me to look at later on when I need to. Just like I got inspired by this book. Remember when we looked through it in the beginning? And I have to remember also to be nice to myself, because I have a tendency, and I think it's not just me, I think a lot of painters are like that, of being kind of mean to myself and always kind of saying, oh, you're not very good at this, and that didn't turn out very nice, and stuff like that. It's not really nice. I would never ever say that to anybody else. I would enjoy it, and I do. You know, when I see other people painting really loose and stuff, and I love it, but I also know that I would not probably be happy with it if I had painted it myself. I would find fault with it instead of just enjoying it for what it is. Yeah, something to work on in this year. So I'm gonna darken a little bit here, and maybe even put a little bit of this one, there. And then I think I'm gonna go over and see if I can find a little salt. I'm feeling the urge to put a little salt in, and that's probably also inspired by the outdoors. I just dug out the first salt that I could find, and that's this little one. It's very fine salt, popcorn salt. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in my hand here, in the palm of my hand. Put a little bit around here. And I don't know, maybe we can get a few things here on this side of this flower. See, snow's coming. And then we'll put some down here. I don't know, might be too wet, but the only way of finding out is to do it. A favorite instructor and teacher of mine, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, Colin Holman. Some of you probably know of her. She wrote several books, and she was a fantastic instructor. She was the one that introduced me to using popcorn salt. She was a big fan of that. So anyway, now we got one new one and doctored up a couple of the others. And now we're just gonna let it dry. And that's perfect, because now it's time for me to go out and make a little dinner. So this is a all-day affair, but you know, just on and off. And part of it, honestly, I can blame on the weather. So I'll see you in a bit when this is dry. So everything is dry now. I took the salt off. I erased a little bit of pencil lines I had there. And I got my reference photos back up. And let's just take a little look here. We need to define some little areas. I'm going to use my little number 3 Heritage round brush. And let's just start with this one up here. It's very hard to tell what's what. So first of all, I think we want to go in and just define a little bit in here. So there's a stem and there's some little leaves and stuff, and so I just want to let go of that. And there's a little stem there. And here's just going to fine tune that little bud by putting in a little bit of color around it. And again, we have to remember this is just in our sketchbook, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just talking to myself here on that. Of course, I have a little tendency to the perfection thing. So that's that. And then let's just put a little, we need a little shadow color. And I'm just using some of those leftovers I have, and maybe, you know, I'm not going to change color at this juncture in the game. Just use what I have here. So I need to have a little bit of a definition right here. And then see if I can loosen the edge. You know, because this is not 100% cotton paper. It's a little harder, but that's okay. And let's do a little bit over here. I'm going to turn my book around and just lose that edge. I lost most of the color too. See, that's the thing about it. It doesn't react as nicely as we're used to, but that's okay. You won't get quite as smooth edges and, you know, transitions and stuff like that, but it's okay. It's okay. And then I want to do like here on this side. I want to have a little shadow. Push that back where it belongs. There. Just clean that up. And soften that edge. And then I want to take a little bit of that green, and there's a little bit of this kind of stuff going on. And I'll put a little green in there. And then on the little bud there, let's get a little bit of, it also has some green, but let's just do it like that. It's a little bud, and I think I'm not going to tinker around with that anymore. I should just leave it. This one up here, I kind of like it. I think I can enhance a little bit here. Just want to get some little, and here. Just some little undulation or whatever in there. Bring that out a little bit more. Yeah. Losing edges and stuff is not that easy in this format, but that's okay. And then let's look at the one that is open in the middle. And we put a little masking on yesterday, remember? Let's put a little bit of more yellow in the center here, because that's, you know, that's kind of a yellow center. There we go. And then this one is a pinkish one. And so I'm using my very watered down permanent magenta, and I'm gonna just do in here in the center first. Of course that's gonna push in, go like that. And let me grab a brush that's a little bit bigger for the next step. Clean water, and then just gonna do like this. See if I can avoid getting hard edges, too many hard edges. And here is that, and then this part of it is underneath, so let's just try to indicate where the petals are overlapping. Give it a little bit more definition there. And there again, let's go in and just, and then here is, wanted to say that that overlaps a little bit there. I think that's good enough. It's good enough. And then this last one, that one I think I want to use maybe one of my pens. Yeah, so maybe just to start out with, I'm going to use my pencil. And then I'm going to try and find, so here, see I see a little yellow here. So I'm going to let that kind of poke out. And then there's going to be some petals. Like this, like that, and I want to kind of say like that, and then there's going to be one up here. Okay, and it's going to be like that, and the stem's going to come here. So there we have it. There. So I don't know if you can kind of see where I'm going with this, but I'm going to go in and kind of make that yellow there. And then we're going to go in afterwards, and then I'm going to have a stem. And I'm just going to stop it like that. And then it's going to be kind of darker right in here. Of course that's like the inside of the flower, I can see a little bit. And the same here. Just do it like that. And then on the outside here, maybe I'll give it a little of that permanent magenta. And just bleed it out. And give it a little bit of that in here too, and then in here on the other side, and then this one is one that comes up like this, a little bit darker right here, there, and just like that. Then I'm just going to let it dry, and then I'm going to go in with some pen work. And actually while I'm at it, I'm going to give this here, I'm going to pretend, I think these are some, whoops, that was too blue, didn't want that. I wanted kind of more magenta. That's not a big deal. I'm going to pretend that these here are some buds that are maybe opening up there. And then I'll grab the green like that, maybe lift out a little bit so it's not so dark. There. I think that can work. We'll see. So now I'm just going to let it dry for a little bit, and I'm going to think a little bit, and then I'm going to get back to you. So I have been thinking a little bit, and I'm going to work on this one a little bit more. Just more on the outside, really. I feel it needs something a little darker. So, and here. And then we need a bunch of leaves to just kind of create more of a background. And this little Batsky could get a little bit of pinkish to it. And when it's a little bit drier, I don't like it to be so hard edged, so I'm going to soften. And again, see, I don't like those hard edges. It doesn't go with what I have going on, I don't feel. So if I can get rid of them, I will. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a splatter going here without splattering on the flower. There we go. Take that off. A little bit on the flower there. And then I'm just going to dab in what the heck I'd like to do. Like there. I want it a little bit better for some splatter. There. Now, I'm happy. There we go. I like that a lot better. I mean, I think it's beginning to get a little character now. That's what we're after, character. All right. Then here, now that it's dry, I can take my kneaded eraser. That's what I prefer to use. I need to erase pencil lines. All right. And then I'm going to take my Micron fine liner, and I want the really, really fine one. Let's see if it'll even do anything. Let's see here. Yeah, it's barely there. See, I just want to put in some little lines. And as you can see, I don't want them to be too perfect or anything like that. Just kind of scribbly lines. I like that. And kind of hit and miss. And see, there's a little, you can see a little bit of some petals on the other side here. And just some little directional lines. I think that always is a good way of going. And I think we're pretty much there. There. I like that. That's fine. This one we didn't define at all. And then here, this one is to go down here. And here's a bud. And then here we had our little flower that goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then we can see petal on the other side, and this petal, and then this front petal, and then we have our little stamens in here. Just see if we might need one that's a little bit thicker for the little stamens in here. There we go. And I'm going to use that also. To just kind of give some little directional lines. And then we want to get leaves and petals and whatnot. Just some little scribbles, and then I'm going to go in with some darker green. There we go. That's that. And then for this one here, I want to grab my brown Micron, since I used that walnut oil. And first what I want to do actually is I'm going to take off the masking fluid if I can. Not easy. I need my masking fluid picker upper. So that's this one here. And I can feel that masking fluid is old because it's kind of sticky and it's hard to get it off. So it's one of those, masking fluid does not last forever. There, that's good enough. And now we have our brown one. And so then we'll go in first, if this one will. Yeah, will it work? Maybe not, maybe not. So not only does the masking fluid not last, or, they get old, is what I'm trying to say if I could talk. Okay, so just a few little lines. I don't want too many anyway. So, and I have more of these here, so this one needs to go bye-bye, and then I grab another one. And this one goes like this. Good enough. And then what we can also do here is, since I took it out, I have my Signal gel pen that's white. So if I can get some little, all these pens, they haven't been used for a while, so then it's hard to get them going. Okay, I had to grab another one. And I just want to get just a little bit. And let's see here. Yeah, I think I might have to spring for some more of those also. Anyway, good enough, good enough. Yeah, it doesn't do much. So here, last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh, and by the way, we did get some salt action. I didn't even talk about that. Did get some salt action. Got a little bit up here. But now I want to go in really, really dark. And underneath here, kind of bring out that edge. That would be nice. And I'm going to go in and also get a little bit of that green in. Maybe I should go in and see if I can define here a little bit. There. And then that goes down there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Keep it lighter here. And then I think I want to keep it a little darker right here to bring that and that out. Just like that. And then let's see if we can just kind of lose some of those edges. Just put a little water in to get some runbacks if we can. There. One last little darker here. Really like it dark in the corner. This corner too. Just like that. I think that's good. This one, what do I want to do with that one? Do I want to do anything with it? Yes. What we want to do with this one is we can lift out a couple of highlights just so we get a little bit more pizzazz on this one here. We already put in a little shadow color and stuff, so let's put in some little highlights. Something I didn't like here, so it's a little easier, I think, to lift on this paper. And here was also, if I can put a little highlight in here, would be good. A little bit. There. That's now it's beginning to show a little bit there. There, gonna call it good enough. So that was our little playtime. As I said before, it's nothing brilliant. See again, that's not really very nice to say. It was fun, spontaneous, loose. That's what I was going for, loose. I accomplished that. So no need to knock it, right? No need to knock it. So I just felt that I should just do that. And could also just right around here the center, I would like a little bit, kind of more shadow. Like, just to make it a little deeper. Give it a little more depth. There. And then see if we can kind of lose the harder lines. There. There. We're gonna call it a day. All right. That was my little playtime in the studio. Hope you had fun and hope that got you back in the studio again. We're not striving for perfection. I have to tell myself that all the time because obviously my subconscious mind is apparently striving for perfection all the time. So, gotta keep that in check. Go. Okay. I kind of feel I want a little bit darker. Right there. Just to bring the yellow stamens out. That would be kind of fun. And then we're gonna call it a day. There. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, I think you can tell those are hellebores. So, I finished and I took the tape off. And I always like to do that. And I did 2 more down here, just off camera, just so I could finish the page and so I could take the tape off for you. And then I had to chuckle to myself because, you know, using this palette, some of you might have noticed and raised an eyebrow or two because I used the 2 greens on my palette. I used 2 greens on my palette. And I'm known to tell all my students, don't use green, mix your own. And then here I am having 2 greens on my palette. So yeah, the 2 greens I have on my palette, they are Cascade Green, it's this one here, and then the Green Gold, both of them are from Daniel Smith. And both of them are not like pure pigments in the sense that they are mixed from more than one pigment. So I've already got my next video idea. I'm going to see if we can create those greens from colors that we already have. Because, you know, I know what's in them, I know the pigment numbers. So anyway, look out for that video and then you can maybe make your own, we'll see. So I hope you had fun with this. I hope maybe you got inspired. And we took the first step of getting back into our studios now here in the new year, 2023. I don't know when you're watching this, but that's when I filmed it. And I just heard the snowplow go by on the street because it's still, you know, snowing very, very heavily. So I think I'll have to go out and clear yet another berm because my snow service seems to be missing in action or, you know, very random when they're here. So anyway, a woman's got to do what a woman's got to do, right? Make sure we can get out. Anyway, have fun, happy painting, and see you soon in another video where we're going to talk about greens.